Mayor, how are you today?
I'm well. Good morning, Joseph.
46 years ago today, the beginning of the blizzard of 78.
I remember it well.
Yes, so do I.
I shoveled for weeks. Made a couple of bucks.
Yeah, we're about the same age, and I remember, it was great. We're home for 2 weeks, but wait a minute, I have to shovel and work, and I want to go back to school.
I remember actually Jewin Marsh Warehouse. For those that don't know, that's now Boston Scientific out at along the Neponset River there. And one of the roofs caved in, so they were hiring kids to shovel the roofs off. They would shovel into these big sleds, and then you'd push the sled over the side. Dump it over the side, I should say.
Yeah.
It was $5 an hour.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was good money. My parents didn't know. They would have shot me.
Oh, there are a million stories, I'm sure, even to this day.
Absolutely.
But thankfully, nothing like that in our near future. Anyway, thankfully, it's been
but you know something, Joey, that it did bring everybody together.
Yes.
It brought people together, the community together, like nothing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Everybody looked out for each other, and it was a remarkable time. Really was.
It's true. It's lost on today's generation, certainly. There's a picture in the Quincy Historical Society's Quincy Book of Days of Beale Street in Wollaston Center had to be 100 people just walking up and down the middle of the street with their sleds and toboggans because there was no traffic, obviously. There was traffic ban.
Going to get some milk and bread.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there was no Zoom back then, so...
That's right.
That was cool for sure. Mayor, can we talk a little bit about some of the items that were discussed at the City Council meeting last night, being the update on the public safety complex? First of all, sounds like it's going well.
Yes, it really looks like something now with the steel going up as you drive by. And a couple of people said to me it's a pretty good-sized building, and reminded them that we had to bring the whole site had to come out because there's a floodplain in that area, far from the downriver. The old station, the basement used to flood on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. So it looks bigger because it's elevated on the site as well. But it's really a long time overdue. It will bring us up to date, provide a facility that does a lot of things in our community that people aren't even aware of. But there's a lot of public that interact with the police. Sometimes it's for bad things, but many times it's for positive things. And the old station was absolutely horrible in its welcoming to the public, or lack thereof. And of course, we've had nothing but trouble with that building for a long time. So this will be a long overdue, state-of-the-art facility that will serve the men and women, the police and fire departments, very, very well. And of course, most importantly, will serve the public.
So according to the timeline last night, the completion is scheduled for October 2025. So will the existing station stay up until that time and then come down?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct. Once the new station's completed, they'll move everything over. Well, not everything, but some things over, along with the men and women, to the new station, and then they'll take the old one down, and that corner will change drastically. It'll be greened up beautifully. It'll be a park in that corner. It'll be a nice offset to the cemetery side.
And then the garage for the new public safety complex, so what's the status of that?
Well, that will be finished as well. I mean, it's a two-story garage, which allows us to park more efficiently on site. Today, if you drive by the station, even before the new station was going up, parking was at a premium as you meld right into the public works lot with folks parking there that work at Public Works. And, of course, you had the fuel station in the middle of it all, so it was a little bit of a challenge to navigate through there. So this will be far more efficient and effective, and both police, fire, and Public Works getting in and out of that site. Certainly the fueling station, which serves the whole city, has been already complete off of Broad Street. That makes a big difference as well.
Yep. So will the access to and from the new complex still be from C Street?
Yes, for the public, essentially C Street. Mm-hmm. For those that work at the station, Broad Street, they still could come in C Street, but Broad Street will be the way, and we now Broad Street connects to Field Street.
Yep.
And then Field Street comes down to the intersection of Southern Artery and McGrath. So it allows for better, easier access in and out of the site as well.
Yeah, kind of going behind Southern Artery instead of clogging that intersection there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and as you mentioned, other things happen there for the community. There's the prescription take-back days that they have. There's the child seat safety installation that they provide as well. So it'll be easier for things like that as well.
I think you'll see more things like that because they'll have the space to do it and the parking to do it, which would be tremendous for the public again. So,
Sure.
Good stuff.
And the plan is still for police department, fire department, administration, and emergency management?
That's correct.
Okay. Very good. Also last night, Mayor, Council voted 8 members in favor of the land disposition agreement for Fox Rock Properties to build a new medical center at the Ross parking garage site.
Yes, I'm grateful to the council for their vote. As you know, Joe, we've been talking about this for a couple of years now, so this was no surprise going in that any medical would have required a tax deal because that's the way it is in the marketplace. Medical generally doesn't pay taxes. They're both mostly nonprofit entities, thereby they are allowed to avail themselves of that non-tax status. So I appreciate the work of the council. I appreciate the work of my team, Chief of Staff Chris Walker and the planning department and our finance department, our outside attorneys, assistants, and making sure we get it right. And so it's full steam ahead now. And it's been, as I've talked about quite a bit with you, Joe, even this last campaign, people still talk about the lack of medical services in Quincy. Now, we've had a number of urgent care facilities pop up, and they do very, very well. But this will be far more than that. It won't be quite a hospital, but it will have a lot of services that we don't have today. And I think it's going to solve a challenge for a number of people that have to travel a bit of a distance to have a procedure or a test or something done. So this project was in response to what the public is looking for in medical services.
The as you mentioned, the 40-year tax exemption was the one that I guess raised the most questions. What happens after 40 years, Mayor?
Well, you and I won't be here to worry about it, Joe.
This is true.
Well, I mean, if it still continues to be a medical entity, they'll renegotiate it.
I see.
If that ceases being used medically, well, then the tax deal goes away with it. So it will solve itself.
And as you mentioned, that's very typical for medical centers, such as like South Shore Hospital, for instance. I'm sure has the same type of agreement.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And also remind people that Quincy Medical Center never paid taxes up there in that site. Now with that new development up there, the city's collecting $1.4 million in taxes. So when you do the analysis, we're far ahead of the game by this setup. So though we're losing, some would argue, well, you're giving something away. But when the deal was cut with Fox Rock, the deal was they bring medical services to Quincy Center as part of the tolling agreement. I don't know if you remember some of that, Joe.
Yeah, I do.
With the hospital site. So at the end of the day, this is what was supposed to happen, and it is happening, and I think it's terrific.
Well, as I recall, Fox Rock did pay the city $4.25 million as part.
That's correct.
Yes.
That was part of the deal as well. Yep.
Now, what is the next step, Mayor?
Next step is for Fox Rock to get the design finished and get in the ground.
Okay. Timeline on that?
I don't have it in front of me now.
Okay.
I know that everyone's excited about it, so I had several conversations with Rich Fernandez, the president of BI, Milton, and they're all very, very excited about it.
Sure.
And as you know,
yep.
BI is now going to become the partner to Dana-Farber.
Yes. That
changes the world a bit, too, medically. So what was a long-time Brigham Women partnership will now become BI. So my guess is that BI's presence will only grow in the downtown.
Mayor, can you maybe provide an update on, I understand construction has started on the new Furnace Brook Golf Course clubhouse, and some questions raised about some of the tree takings for that project.
Yeah, I'm not sure specifically what the tree question was, Joe, but I do know that the plan that we have adopted and are now implementing was discussed with the public in several meetings. The plan was changed because people raised the issue of maybe too many trees were being cut down in that plan. So the plan was changed quite a bit. So there was to be some trees taken down that had to be, but there'll also be a number of new trees planted as well. So it is following what the plan was adopted after the community meeting. So there's no way to do all that work up there without losing some trees. It just was not possible.
So, yeah, some of the residents have said to me that over 60 trees were taken. Was that part of the original plan?
I'd have to check with Commissioner Murphy.
Okay.
I don't know what they mean by 60. I don't know if they're talking about saplings in the sides of the woods that grow Norway maples, essentially, which are the weeds for trees. I'm sure it's some of those. I doubt there's that many real trees up there that come down. But again, this was a plan that was adopted based on community input. We had a number of community meetings, as you remember, Joe, on this issue, and that was raised by the public, and we responded. The park division of the natural resources responded, and changed the plan up. Originally, we were looking at a bigger parking lot to leave the neighborhood, and then the neighborhood said they didn't want as big a parking lot. Let's save some of the trees. So let's hope at the end of the day there's enough parking so that the neighborhood isn't affected by the parking, which was the goal originally. But at any rate, I'll check with Commissioner Murphy, but I know that we haven't changed the plan since we adopted the one that was agreed upon once we had those community meetings.
Okay. Always good to talk to you, Mayor. Appreciate your time, and we're not looking at
We had one sunny day, Joe. We're back to clouds again.
It's coming back. It's coming back. It's not the blizzard of '78. Let's be thankful for that.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.